during the beginning of pandemic. We were not sure what was going to happen. B2B side of our business that, suffered quite a bit in the beginning. We actually built out a very strong influencer marketing program. SMS these days has been like super amazing.
What do you think Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2022 will look like?
We're still, advertising on Facebook and Google, but nowadays I really believe in.
I'm really excited to have Kimmy here. She is the head of marketing at BluMaan, an influencer created and barber endorsed men's grooming and hairstyling product. She is also the co-founder of Chubby, a digital marketing agency. Kimmy is a marketing guru, and I'm so excited to dive into all things marketing in 2022, what an influencer created and driven brand looks like, and how BluMaan became a multi-million-dollar brand based on their community and YouTube.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So I'm curious when you started working with BluMaan and, kind of tell us what is your role, like what do you do there?
Yeah, so I started working with BluMaan for over 5 years now. I started off, in the marketing team. At that time, we were smaller than where we are today. And, things were a little bit more scrappier, like startup style. And now, we've grown, we've brought in more people, processes, and the team has, become more experienced and just been more efficient. So nowadays I'm able to, I just lead the marketing team. I have my team members that are able to, handle different areas of the marketing department, from social media to influencers and emails, etc. And my day-to-day is just guiding the strategy and making sure that we're kind of, headed in the right direction, as well as figuring out like issues, like challenges that pop up these days.
Yeah. You also have an agency, right?
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So my agency, I started it with my co-founder, one of the co-founders of BluMaan, and the agency name is Chubby. We wanted to come up with a more like unique name. Cute. That people wanted to just kind of like, that's a bit more memorable. But we started the agency because we felt like, there was a specific need that we wanted for our own company, and we kind of knew how to, we knew how to run ads on the social side efficiently, and we wanted to kind of like be able to replicate that for other brands. So we ended up starting it, and we started off small, and then it started growing, and now we're able to work with quite a few e-commerce brands.
Nice. I love that. How has the pandemic, I guess, in 2021 affected BluMaan?
So, I mean, it definitely has affected us. In the beginning, we were not sure what was going to happen. Like, sales were kind of like unpredictable. We have like a B2B side of our business that, suffered quite a bit in the beginning because of all these salons and barbershops that closed down during the beginning of pandemic. But now we've kind of, overcome that, and, sales are back to normal. And in some cases, some of our products have done better because of that health angle that we have, that, people really care about these days. So some of our products that were not as top selling ended up being top sellers. But then now the struggle really is the supply chain, just because there's so much like logistic issues, and on our end, we have to source a lot of ingredients for our products. So now we're kind of facing another challenge.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember during the pandemic, I also experienced just lots of logistics delay and supply chain. All the shipping costs went up like double, triple. And so, that was definitely a challenge. Did the pandemic help you guys grow your D2C site at all?
Yes. So like it helped us grow some of our Amazon sales, like shot up.
Yeah.
So that really was like, it just kind of came, I guess, like it happened at the right time, because we were transitioning, like we were really putting focus into Amazon at that time. And, we launched like Amazon Canada, and then US, and then UK at the same time.
Yeah.
And so during that time, our Amazon sales like shot up, like even doing better than like Shopify at some point. But now it's kind of like, calmed down a little bit, but still, it helped in that way.
Yeah. Cool. Um, Now that we are, I guess, kind of post pandemic, have you seen like a drop in sales on like either the retail side or the D2C side? And like, what do you think Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2022 will look like for you guys?
So we're pretty like our Black Fridays are usually like our,
Yeah.
best time of the year. I don't see it being, anything different from like the previous years. Our retail side, we're actually growing because we're now really focusing on working with barbers and
Mhm.
salons,
Yeah.
like across US. So that's been really good. We've been really hitting the mark there since we really tried to focus on it. But with Black Friday, I think, it really comes down to supply chain and just it's not about it's actually the any kind of like for the most part, anytime we're not meeting our goals is actually because these days is because of supply chain issues.
Yeah.
We have weeks or months where we're like out of stock and everyone's just like asking us when we're going to get it
Oh
back in
no.
stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the issue we're facing, which is a good issue, but it's not at the same time because yeah, like we definitely need to like keep having our products available.
Hmm.
But yeah, like Black Friday is always like exciting for us.
Yeah. Um, I know that you guys have really built a really strong Facebook group. I think over like 47K members. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys built that and like how did you decide that Facebook was going to be the place that your community kind of comes together and what goes on in the Facebook group and how does it help you guys marketing wise?
Yeah, so when the company first started, our two co-founders, Ben and Joe, they were very much involved in the creation of the first product, which is our hairstyling wax.
Yeah.
And they really wanted to focus it around gathering the feedback and the input of Joe's audience. So yeah, Joe being BluMaan on YouTube, and so they put out a lot. They put out a lot of content on YouTube to really try to get feedback. But then at that time, like Facebook group was really popular as well. This was like over 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and so they really felt like the right move was to get people into Facebook so that they can really build that community and that further that relationship on the Facebook group side. So that's kind of how and why it started was to really continue that conversation outside of just YouTube.
Right.
Um, and then from then on, we have really great like moderators and community managers. One of them, Nana, she's been with us since the beginning, and
Yeah.
she's still leading leading the community. On our team, we have Steven, who also now manages a community as well. So nowadays, the community has grown so big. It's difficult to have like more intimate conversations, but we kind of really try to still keep the group very active. Like you would think that a lot of people have moved away from Facebook, but it's not
Yeah.
true because like it just depends on like what you put out there, like the type of conversations that engages your customers. And because ours are mostly male, I wouldn't say it's all male.
Yeah.
They kind of like things a little bit lighthearted, but at times, they do have questions. They want feedback
Yeah.
about, their look or their style. So we just really cater that content for them and we kind of see the results
Yeah.
come through.
How does your community manager or like moderators help like boost engagement within the group?
Yeah, so I mean like I'm really grateful for the people that are handling the community, both Nana and Steven, and also all the moderators that are in there. They really just help cultivate that kind of like energy and that kind of like um, vibe
Yeah.
within the group, and so they really motivate the moderators and people that are actively engaging in the group to constantly like react to posts, to provide comments, to post
Right.
themselves, because that kind of just like starts off like a chain effect
Hmm.
for all the followers and the community members to start engaging. So
Yeah.
it all starts from like our team making sure that they're actively involved and listening and engaging,
Right.
and then it kind of just like expands. Whereas some communities I've seen like it's just like one way, you do a post but you never really engage.
Yeah.
Like you really want to make sure you're engaging with like your audience
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you guys also use your Facebook group to kind of do like new product testing? And can you tell me a little bit about how do you guys, really listen to your community and create the next best product with their advice?
Yeah, so I mean, we actually have like a bit of a process, but it always changes and evolves. So, with our community, Facebook community group, we typically try to like ask a lot of questions to understand like what kind of pain points they're facing, whether it's related to like, their daily routine or like their hair condition. And then from there, it guides us into figuring out like, okay, what's our next best product that we should create? Like, what's the next biggest problem that we should kind of solve? And then from there, we're able to go into our community and ask who's interested in becoming a part of like an expert tester, or like able to like provide more feedback to
Yeah.
us, so we can have like more in-depth conversation to understand like that pain point. So the community is great in the way where we can really tap into it to kind of find like very specific information for us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I think listening to your customers really helps a company go the long way, and really making sure that everything that you're launching is, based on what customers want. I think that's really important. And not a lot of brands do that.
I know it's hard, because you're like, you've got so many things that's
Yeah.
like, you're trying to juggle. And then like that part of things is like, so it doesn't drive you immediate sales. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of like more
The long
indirect.
run. Yeah.
But then like the products that we do listen to our customers, like they end up being like really good sellers, so
Yeah.
it does have an impact.
Yeah. I think customers feel heard too. And so they're more loyal to the brand when we are actually listening. So yeah, that's cool. Um, I want to talk a little bit more about the YouTube channel, because not a lot of brands that I know kind of grow their social media on YouTube. Mostly it's like Instagram, I guess nowadays also TikTok. But yeah, how did you guys start all that, and what kind of content do you post on YouTube? Is it always just like talking about the product, or is it more organic? Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so I mean, like Joe, our founder, he started YouTube, like his YouTube channel many, many years ago. And he started just doing product reviews. And at that time, like he hadn't even started the product, like BluMaan yet. And so um at that time he was just doing really kind of like authentic, genuine like product reviews of like other big brands out there.
Yeah.
And for in the men's space, like there's not a lot of YouTubers at that time that were providing that type of information.
Mm,
And so it was very product focused to begin with, like on his channel, and he was providing that like additional value. And then um, over time, like it just became like the channel grew bigger and bigger, and it just became apparent that like a lot of his followers, had a lot of questions and issues around like hairstyling and hair needs and all that kind of stuff. And so it was from there that he started to tailor his content for hair, and there was just such a big audience for it. So
yeah.
it was pretty crazy, and they were very, very engaged. Like they wanted to interact with Joe, they wanted to talk to Joe.
Right.
And then at that time, we were always just listening to his audience to see what kind of content would make sense for him to do. And so we would plan out his content, we'll work with him, brainstorm with him, and then kind of like develop the strategy. But at the same time, integrate BluMaan and BluMaan's products into his content as well, so that like his audience will know more about the brand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that the YouTube channel is like where most of your revenue comes from in terms of your marketing efforts, or is it pretty spread out through different channels?
So I would say YouTube definitely, but not necessarily from Joe's channel. Like we actually built out a very strong influencer marketing
Mm,
program
yeah.
with the team. And through that now, most of the influencers are on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Although these days we've been getting into TikTok as well.
Mm,
But for a very long time, our main kind of channel that we find was most helpful for our brand was YouTube.
right. Um, I guess for YouTube influencers, for us, like my brand, we've tried it a little bit, but the influencers are a lot more expensive because there's just a lot more commitment into making, in our case, like a review, try on haul, and like you got to talk about the sizing and whatnot. But do you guys always only work with paid influencers? And how do you track attribution for the influencer marketing? Is it through like an affiliate code?
Yeah, so with YouTube, it's pretty much almost paid. Like
Right.
all, I would say like all of them are paid. Like when we first started, we had free influencers and they were paid by performance,
Yeah.
but that wasn't enough for us to scale fast enough. And
Mm,
so we tapped into different niches within the YouTube space. So the fitness space was a really big space that we're, actively working with. A lot of
nice.
fitness
Yeah.
influencers, like Christian Guzman and like Max Tuning. So they're like some of the bigger
Yeah.
fitness influencers in the YouTube space. So we realized they didn't really have like a hair sponsor, but obviously they love to get their hair done. They
Yeah.
they look
That's really
great all the
smart.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that time, I even till now actually I'm working with my influencer manager Sam, and we decided like this is the way to go, and we tested it. Everything is tracked. I'm like really big on seeing an ROI and
Yeah.
things, and so it's all tracked through discount codes
Mm,
and affiliate links. Yeah, so we all do it in house, and we track it very closely. So luckily, like yeah, I have a team that is very you know diligent and kind of like really pays attention to the data.
right.
And it's not easy when it comes to social to do that, but
Hmm.
for me, it's just so important that we see what's working like
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Are there some tools that you would recommend for like influencer marketing or attribution?
Yeah, so like I said, we do a lot of the things in house,
Right.
but right now I'm trying an app called Up Promote.
Mm, okay.
And that's just through Shopify with one of my client because they're running a bigger influencer program. Like we're, bringing on like hundreds of influencers. So
Yeah.
I needed something a bit more kind of automated
Hmm.
versus BluMaan, we're very selective.
Right.
And then I know another one that's really good is Dovetail.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I think Shopify
yeah.
just acquired them or something. Now it's called
Oh,
Shopify
is that?
influencers or something. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't even know. But yeah, like I heard that one's really good. And then I like to use this app called Caro. I don't know if you've heard, it's also on Shopify, but essentially just like goes through all your customer list and tries to figure out, and it tells you like if they have an Instagram page and like what's their following, what's their engagement
Ah,
rate. So
so an influencer could have been your customer that you could find.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So you can just go and like reach out to them right away. So yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna link it in the description. So if you guys are interested, you can check that out. Um, cool. I know you guys also do email marketing. Do you also do SMS marketing?
Yeah, we do email and we do SMS. And SMS these days has been like super amazing.
Yeah.
Results has just been like thank God we were building it up, a while back, our
Mm,
SMS list because with all the email issues that's been happening, SMS has really helped out with like kind of um, getting that extra revenue back.
yeah.
But with email, yeah, we work with a really great agency called Kronos, and they kind of helped us with like revamping our SMS, our email flows, our email designs, and really kind of gave us that like additional strategy and push for email traffic and revenue.
Hmm.
And so yeah, like for a very long time, we kind of needed that expertise, and we just couldn't take everything in house
Yeah.
because
Sure.
we're not at that size.
Hmm.
So that I think it's really good to kind of when you are running a smaller team is just to kind of know what your strengths are, and then contract out what areas that you maybe are not so much interested in, right?
Yeah.
So that was for us was email.
Yeah. I know. Like a lot of companies now I think contract everything out, but I do believe that some things should stay in house, like your strengths, like things that you build your company
Mhm.
on, right? But if you don't know, hire someone else to, I guess, teach you, right? Even if you just work with them for a few months, whatever, you also learn through seeing the results, what they're doing, and then like maybe one day you can bring it in house. But yeah, I'm a strong believer in hiring and hiring the right people to help with like
Yeah.
weaknesses. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so cool to see how other team members work.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a part of me, like I really like working with different clients and brands is just to like be able to like, you know, have access to understand like all these different strategies in
Right.
place. Like even for like as an agency, like working with these different brands, you expose yourself to all these different kind of challenges. And so yeah, like I love it on both front, on both ends, like working in-house, but also working in agency.
Yeah. That's awesome. How do you guys grow your SMS list? Do you have a strategy?
So, I mean, like the strategy is like really just asking them
Right.
when they're on the website. And then we ran some giveaways in the beginning to
Mm-hmm.
really just
Grow
grow
the
it.
list. Yeah.
And then a lot of it is just going to be on our, the checkout, like, just kind of like getting the abandoned checkout kind of SMS. But
Yeah.
those are probably the key areas that we're like, getting SMS numbers.
Yeah. So I think nowadays there's more and more celebrity slash influencer driven D2C brands. Usually they do some sort of equity share or a rev split. Um, do you foresee more brands doing that? And do you think like it's a good way to go about like starting a company?
So you mean like as a brand owner, like a manufacturer, going to like a celebrity
Yeah.
to
Partner up.
collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
and you're asking for like the brand side, not the celebrity side, but
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think yes. Like honestly, like with the type of relationship an influencer or a celebrity has with their audience, like
Yeah.
that is just really hard to kind of build overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of time and effort to do that, and so for a manufacturer who can find a influencer celebrity to partner with to launch a brand, I think it makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
like because they just like skip all that kind of hard work in the marketing front
Right.
to be able to work with a celebrity. I think it's just more so finding the right partner, because it's not just like finding a celebrity and like in their audience and that's it, but when it comes to working with like influencers and whatnot, like you need to make sure that the working style and the values and also like the result is kind of somewhat aligned,
Yeah.
or else like there can be a lot of friction, a lot of like you know um yeah, like expectations that are not met on both parts. So I think it's really important to find the right fit in this
Yeah.
case. Mm-hmm.
Cool. For 2022, what are, I guess, YouTube is one of your strongest channels. Like, are you guys testing anything new for this year?
Um, yeah, so TikTok is like our biggest focus yet.
Yeah.
We think that it is an amazing place to kind of get people aware of our brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is really just being able to educate at the same time, because BluMaan is really about educating men and people that uses our product,
Right.
how to use our product, because we notice that a lot of our customers are or audience that are interested are still they're still so foreign about using a hairstyling product
Yeah.
or like how to use it. And they just kind of like will see a product, like use our product on wet hair and not even blow dry it and just walk out and think that will work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like education revolved around it versus the female side. There's I don't know, like we just kind of know like
How to
we
figure it
get
out and do it. Yeah.
yeah, we like figure it out. But for men, we need to kind of educate them. And so even when we work with our influencers, we have to kind of like give them the right amount of information so that they know how to use our product properly. It's not as like intuitive as it is, I guess, for some other people.
Yeah. Have you guys, like, do you guys also post organic on TikTok?
Yeah, so we are posting organic on TikTok, but right now our organic content on TikTok are more content that our influencers have created for us,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been repurposing it. But
Right.
the major kind of switch in this coming year is that we are going to be making content specifically for TikTok
Right.
versus reusing other people's content on other channels.
Yeah.
We want it like TikTok first. Like when they made the switch between desktop to mobile and it's like
Uh-huh.
mobile first, like we want TikTok first versus like YouTube first,
Right.
So
I see.
that's the kind of like change that we want to make
Mm-hmm.
over this year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I find that for TikTok, it's different than Instagram. For Instagram and maybe even YouTube, but I haven't dug into YouTube, so I'm not sure. But for Instagram, I know that like lots of user generated content is the way to go. Like people want to see that, you know, other people are wearing or using your product, and the more the better. Like they want to see real customers. But I find that for TikTok, I think having like a face or two that is consistent on your TikTok account like really makes a difference, because people don't want to get sold to. And yes, like even though it is a brand's TikTok page, but if you have a familiar face or two, people feel personally connected to that person, and they feel like less sold to, I think.
No, totally. And like I also think with TikTok it's just like the consistency of like the style of content too. Like I've seen TikTok accounts that like literally upload the same type of content
Yeah.
for the last year and it's still doing well. And yeah, like versus on YouTube, you know, you kind of have to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah.
People get bored pretty easily with the type of content, but with TikTok, it's like, yeah, like it's just different. I think they're just feeding the content to so many people
Mm-hmm.
every day that there's, you know, even if you have the same type of content, there's still more people to kind
The
of serve it
show.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I mean, yeah, like it's, you really have to find time though with TikTok.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. My team always asks me to make content. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get to it. Yeah. Cool. I guess the last kind of topic is, I know that, you know, the iOS change, I guess last year really affected the paid advertising attribution, the tracking
Mhm.
and all of that. How has that affected you guys? And are you guys still spending kind of like the same amount on paid ads? I know a lot of people are kind of diversifying their spend now because they're like, oh, it's like not working that well or not tracking that well. So I'm curious
Mhm.
what your strategy is.
Yeah, so we've definitely diversified it. We don't want to be so reliant on one channel.
Yeah.
That's always kind of like my thing is like, I think it's always good to have like 2 to 3 channels,
Yeah.
you know, with one being priority. And so with Facebook being so unpredictable right now, you know, we're still working, you know, advertising on Facebook and
Yeah.
Google. But nowadays, I really believe in influencer marketing
Hmm.
because, you know, the couple of campaigns that I've been working on have been very, very successful in driving brand revenue,
Yeah.
even through TikTok.
Right.
I've worked with a client that we're seeing explosive kind of growth, specifically from TikTok influencers.
Oh, wow.
No ad spend on TikTok or Facebook at all,
Right.
just all through influencers. And it's crazy because we know it's 100% directly attributed to TikTok because those brands are not advertised anywhere else other than
I see.
TikTok influencers.
Yeah.
So it's just, when I see that, it's like, okay, like it makes so, like to me, it's like, yeah, like it makes sense for us to explore that for like a lot of our brands,
Yeah.
but it's not easy. Like you have to find the right niche,
Hmm.
the right, you know, people and so forth to kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
For TikTok influencers, is it the same way? Like there's an affiliate link and an affiliate code?
Yeah, it's the same way. We reach out to them. We ask them to be an ambassador. You know,
Right.
we'll provide them with the affiliate link and code. Sometimes we will, you know, depending on their size, we will offer them paid.
Right.
Um, but sometimes it's free if they're smaller or you know
Yeah.
they're just really eager to try the products.
Yeah. And you give them full creative freedom on what kind of like type of content they create for the brand.
Yes, yes, yes. We give them guidelines,
Right.
you know, to kind of show them like, because for the most part, like you know, we try to tell them like, you know, to be a part of this, what you're really getting is you're able to make additional revenue, right? Like
Right.
passive income through this. And so at the end of the day, like we want to make sure that our goals are aligned, that they do want to help you sell the products.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so that is really important piece.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we I think we've tried influencers on TikTok for a little bit, but like so far what I've found is that, I mean, maybe because our products are priced a little bit higher. Um
Mhm.
like a lot of products that are, I guess, like maybe under $50 in MSRP like does a lot better on TikTok, I think, because it's less like friction for people to buy, just like the age group that's on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's just what I've heard. But like we have tried TikTok influencers a little bit and haven't seen like too much success, but we also didn't put like too much effort in it. So I'm curious if it's maybe like the type of content we're creating, or that the fact that we are pushing the code, people feel like it's more like less organic on TikTok. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of exploring. I would say age. That the misconception I feel with TikTok is that it's geared towards younger people,
Right.
but it's really not.
Not.
Like you can find, and that's the thing, right? Is like the ones that you don't think are there are the ones that are actually the ones that are there and are buying.
Right. Yeah.
But the ones that are, taking up 99% of the space are
Yeah.
the ones that are like really loud, but they're not buying. So
Yeah, that's
you
true.
kind of have to like, you do, I think the older audience are the ones that, on TikTok will have the better higher buying power.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me. I learned so much, and I'm sure whoever's listening also learned a lot, and excited for Q4 for all the e-com brands out there. If people are interested in, connecting with you or even working with your agency, where can they find you?
I would say find me on LinkedIn, Kimmy Kwok. You can add me. Yeah, we can kind of like chat there, and then yeah.
Awesome.
I'm reworking my website, so
Yeah.
for now that's kind of like not available.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for hopping on here, and nice to chat with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.